Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
And welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors, of course, the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox, Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, and the Holiday Inn Express. Well, we've got big news that broke earlier this week. Monday, in fact, as it pertains to the Ravens and offensive coordinator Cam Cameron, who was brought in at about 9 o'clock Monday morning. And, well, he might have already been in the building, but he was let go by head coach John Harbaugh. You know, we could talk about, and, I'd rather not get into all the minutia of what went down exactly in terms of how it came about. Obviously, there was a tipping point. There were some stories about some disagreements with protection for Joe in the second half, some arguments at halftime and after the game with John Harbaugh and Cam Cameron. I mean, that happens between every coach, but obviously it was a tipping point to something bigger that had built there. I'm not going to waste my time. With all due respect, I'm not going to get into all that as terms of what exactly it was. But what's most important, though, is that the fact that we're here right now at 9-4 on our way to, a playoff berth for the fifth straight year, trying to win a division. Steve, I think this is a very bold move by the organization. Some people would say it's a panic move. That's not like the Ravens. I think if they felt like this was the best decision even 13 weeks through, I'd say, if anything, a tip of the cap, whether you agree or disagree with Cam Cameron being let go. It's a bold decision by an organization that's got a pretty good track record.
That's what I saw some articles about this being, a panic decision. I don't see it like that at all. I think it's a decision, and you're trying to let the players know that, hey, we've lost 2 games, and we think it's because of offensive coaching. We're going to make a change, and we're going to do it this way, and this is what's going to happen. I think they're saying, okay, Joe, this is yours now. You've got a chance to go out the next 2 weeks and defeat guys who've won the Super Bowl in the last couple of years and prove that you are a Super Bowl-worthy quarterback.
Yeah. From the outside looking in,
exactly.
Again, it could very much strike of panic by the Ravens, but it's unlike this organization, like I said, to do something like that. So I've got to think that, look, I trust in them. So if they think this is the best move, to me, it's not a panic move. It's the right move for them at this time.
And exactly like you said, Mike, the outside looking in, being in the NFC East, you guys being in the AFC, you guys have always had, ever since I remember first really seeing them and hearing them back on Hard Knocks on HBO, Ozzie Newsome as your general manager. I mean, that man has been one of the best front office guys in football for better part of a decade. Yeah. From the outside looking in, I think, honestly, it was the best move because from the outside, again, looking in, not all you Ravens fans, but all of us Skins fans, every other team's fans, everyone said the same thing. It's been same thing. You've got Flacco, you got Bolden, you got Smith, you got Pitta, you got Rice, you got Leach, you got all these great players. What's going on? What's the one thing people have always have been saying has been Cameron for the past few years? And I think that just shows the fortitude of your front office to make a move like this far into the season. So I think it's great for you guys personally.
I think there's a lot of things at play here, Steve. You take a look first at the inconsistency this year. We could go back to rumors last year or 2 years ago with the lockout, the fact that if there hadn't been a lockout, Cameron might have been gone. You look at Joe Flacco and maybe he's hit his ceiling, or has he? is there more room for growth with Joe Flacco? JJ points out the offensive weaponry that Cam finally got. So there's a lot going on here. Obviously, the inconsistencies of, well, we were running the no huddle, then we stopped running the no huddle. How much control does Joe have on the field? How much have they pulled back from him? A lot is going to be, I guess, a lot's going to be told in the next few weeks. Another big factor, too, and talking to Tony Lombardi earlier this week about it, is, folks, he still does not have a contract. They need to find out his worth, and a lot of that, too, has to do with, is it him, is it Cam, is it maybe somewhere in the middle? But, Steve, they've got to figure it out, because if you franchise him next year, folks, that's a huge number against the cap. So I almost felt like, too, their hand was forced to try to figure out something here in the last few weeks. I don't know how much of it was offensive inconsistency and how much of it, too, was we got to figure out a contract situation, too.
No, I mean, they definitely know more of what's going on inside the organization. But, I said during the last 2 weeks, I've seen him do things that I haven't seen up to this point. Against Pittsburgh, when he came around the corner and there was nobody within 30 yards of him, and instead of trying to run the ball, and he's a great runner, he tucked the ball and he looked to the sideline and he looked up and he threw a Hail Mary, and that sort of gives us, hey, there's more going on here than we see. When he goes down on the 10-yard line against the Skins and they have the empty backfield. So now you're saying, okay, Joe, you got to throw the ball. And he's pumped once. Anytime he pumps twice, I just cover my eyes because it's not going to be good. And he pumped twice, and then here comes the guy. And, like we were saying, he's only protecting the ball with one hand, so it's going to get fumbled. In that situation, he was to himself, at least this is the way I was viewing it, is I can't throw the ball away. Now that's gone. Now if he makes a mistake, okay, there's no one to blame, Joe, but you. And he is playing for a contract. So, if you're able to win these next 3 games or even win 2 out of 3, then, I saw an article that said he had dropped his worth from $90 million to $78 over the last 3 games. I don't know how you put $1 million brackets on a loss, but.
Yeah, 90 to 78, that's just got to be so horrible. Just only worth 78
I guess there's
million. There's $12 million, the whole fiscal cliff's going to get you.
No Christmas for Joe this year.
Yeah, but the thing with me with Joe Flacco, from the outside looking in, Mike, like you said, I don't believe he's hit his ceiling. I think that he has the talent, is still there, like we talked about, at home compared to away, just for some reason, how he's so much better at home than he is on the road. I actually think because it is a contract year, I know in the radio business, a lot of times if you get talking about stuff, you get thinking too much, you lose your way, if you will. Sure. I think now, I know a lot of people might think the no-huddle offense, actually, you think more, but I think these guys have been playing football since Pee-wee. I don't see why you don't put Joe Flacco and the Ravens in the no-huddle, get Caldwell to give them the calls, and just go. Stop the thinking. Stop the long 5-6-step drop. And just go with it. Like, he just is one of the best quarterbacks, truly, just talent-wise. Don't think about it. Do what you've been doing your entire life, and like we talked about with the weapons that he has, just throw the ball, hand it off, do what you got to do, and just keep the ball going. Because for some reason, like you said, when he double pumps, from me, I love it.
You're good. Yeah,
I love it. There's the second pump. Here we go.
Now.
We got the ball. But I personally think you guys should run the no huddle more, just so he doesn't think, and it gives him less time to kind of think of everything else that could be going on.
Well, and that's what they said he thought was they should be doing it, and Cam said, no, we need to pull back on the no huddle, where Joe feels very comfortable in.
Well, the problem was, though, we talked about this. Okay, when the no huddle's going well, it's great, but when it's not going good, it puts a defense out in the field continually that needs rest and needs to be off the field because it's not very good this year. However, it didn't need to be an all or nothing. So all of a sudden we went from running it some on the road to not at all. And I think there's a happy medium. Again, that can be attributed to Cam. And Cam has been known though as being a control freak. We will see, okay, with Jim Caldwell, how much I think he's going to give to Joe, or give Joe the ability here to sink or swim, as John says, out on the field with, going up the line, being able to have 3 plays and pick one and, continue to go. In a no huddle, you should not have to look to the sideline for a play, and yet we saw that last year against Jacksonville. That's inexcusable. So I think there are obviously more positives than negatives with Cam being let go. The things, though, that it won't solve Joe underthrowing or overthrowing the deep ball. It won't solve drops by Torrey Smith or Anquan Bolden. It won't stop the penalties, which were 28th and are drive killers. And it won't make the defense play better. So Cam's the source of some of the problems, but there are other problems totally unrelated to Cam out there. But with that, let's turn it over to our Q&A. Ms. Marr's got a question here, so why don't you step up? As I'm sure it may have something to do with this very topic. Go ahead.
No, my question is, how safe do they think they're going to make this game? I mean, these guys, when they decide to go into football, they know the hazards of it. Just like a coal miner when he goes down in the coal mine, or anybody else that has a hazardous job. Because now they're going to get afraid to tackle, they're going to get afraid to do this, they're going to be afraid to do that, and then they talk about taking the kickoff away.
Good point. I'll let you go ahead, Steve.
I'm scared she's gonna hit me.
She is?
That was good.
No, I mean, obviously, head trauma is, and unfortunately, I know too well the dangers of head trauma, and they're trying to make the game as safe as it can be, but I've heard a lot of people say that problem with the hitting with the head now is the helmet, and let's take the face mask off the helmet.
But if I hit you in the head, it hurts me too.
It does. But they're saying, you would be, I've heard this said too, if we use leather helmets, then nobody would go there and okay, if we use leather helmets, then it would really get ugly, very quickly. I think that the NFL is trying to do, but unfortunately it's a little too late. You look at Bruce Laird and the guys that played in that generation, they can tell you horror stories of the people in the 50s and 60s and what happened to them post-football. I think the light is coming on to just what a dangerous game it is and how fast the guys are. But that's a stipulation going forward. Is, how do I teach my players, especially my young players, how to teach a game that is progressively faster at the higher levels you play? And we're going to see how the coaches and the administrators deal with that.
I personally cannot stand the whole. Was the Tampa Bay Buccaneer head coach? What is his name?
Great, Schiano.
Yeah, he was the one that made gave Roger Goodell the idea about the whole 30-yard line, getting rid of the kickoff, 4th and 15, you can punt it, whatever. I just don't understand that. You made the perfect point, young lady. I don't know your name. I know I'm new to this. Marlon?
Yep.
The perfect point was made. They are in the NFL. They know what they were getting into. And the last time I checked, they make a pretty good salary. Every single time you step on the field, you could be paralyzed. You could lose your life. Every time a police officer goes out into work, he could lose his life. They know what they got themselves in. You know what you got yourself into. I don't like how it's like two-hand touch anymore. Period.
And it will be flag football.
Yeah, it is getting to be flag football. Real quickly, Harry, got about 45 seconds.
Real quick, everybody knows Michael Orr is not a left tackle. I wouldn't want him on my blind side as a right-handed quarterback. What is the problem with McKinney? Is he in the doghouse? And I don't care if he is or isn't. He can get out there. He should be on that field, and Orr should be in right tackle. What is all this BS about McKinney?
All right, 30 seconds, Steve. We'll get it to you short.
I don't understand, but they've obviously lost faith in McKinney, and I think it's more of a situation where they don't trust him as a long-range answer at tackle, and they think that Orr is a little bit younger and maybe more athletic than McKinney. That's all I can think.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is I got to assume they've got their best 5 out there. Otherwise, it's pretty stupid on John Harbaugh's part if he's not. More to come here. It is the Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Speech TV, and 93.5 The Beach. We're back.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.